Hi everyone, welcome to the Nairobi Naturals channel. I'm really glad you guys are here, and I'm glad to be finally shooting this. When I was thinking about what I wanted to do for this first episode, the idea came to me to do like a braiding series. So I've been doing my own hair for maybe 6 years now, and I thought it would be an interesting topic to cover with you guys. The whole idea of the series is to just basically walk through how I do my braids. What's the process from pre-installation to installation to what I do after. So how am I taking care of my protective style while I have it in? Yeah, I guess we can just get into the video. So we can start off with a pre-installation part. And for this particular series, I'll be focusing on some fluffy kinky long braids that I had about a month ago. And so I'll have like photos and videos when I'm talking about the whole process. Okay, so pre-installation. So one of the first things that I do is the actual getting of the braids. For this particular hairstyle, I wanted to do fluffy kinky long. So I got myself 2 packets of the fluffy kinky long from Westlands Square. Number 1900 I think is the number. They look like, they said the frame doesn't really do them justice in terms of the color, but I'll have photos and videos to just kind of show you what it looks like in the sun. Yeah, so I got 2 packets. Usually they come 2 of these bundles in 1 packet, and each bundle has 10 of them, so altogether I had 40. It's really important to keep them in the bundles, especially for what I'm going to describe. Like, you're going to see why it's really important to keep them in these bundles before now you install them. When I got them, 1 packet was 495 shillings, Kenyan shillings. So 2 packs, that's just under 1,000 Kenyan shillings. I knew I would not use all of them, but I didn't know exactly how much I would use, so I wanted to be on the safer side of things. I ended up using 22 of them, so yeah. I think getting the 2 packets worked out for me. Yeah, so the first thing that I did was I got the braids, and then after getting the braids, I ended up soaking the braids in warm water and white vinegar. So I got this idea from this amazing natural YouTuber. She's called Angie B, I think is her name, and I'll leave a link of the specific video that I'm talking about. But she was talking about how usually braids, when they're being stored or when they're being transported, they're usually sprayed with some solution, and this solution is there to preserve the braids. But what tends to happen is when you're installing the braids, there's still remnants of the solution that's used, and so then it's quite irritating to the scalp when you actually do the hairstyle on your hair. And it's so interesting because I remember that I would always get scalp irritation whenever I had braids in my hair. So she suggested soaking the braids in warm water and vinegar to kind of get rid of that solution before now you install them, and that helps with the irritation. When I did it the first time, I definitely noticed a difference. So after that, it's just been part of the process for me. Whenever I want to install any braids, I soak them in warm water and vinegar, and then I install them, which explains, okay, so now the whole idea of keeping them in the bundles is really, really important for the soaking part of the process. So I mean, you won't experience, it's not going to affect you so much when you're working with like Kinky Fluffy, because they're already separated. But when you're dealing with things like just normal darling braids, you know, the way they come as extensions, it's really, really important to kind of leave them in the bundles that they come in, so that you don't have tangling when you're soaking them. So yeah, so I soaked my braids in warm water, white vinegar, for about 30 minutes, and then I went in and dried them out. And then before I put in extensions, I usually like to go in with some kind of protein treatment. So for this particular installation, I decided to use rice water. So once I had soaked my braids and they were hanging out drying, I prepared my rice water because I wanted to do a rice water rinse for protein. Rice water takes some time to ferment. So even before I thought about my wash day, so my wash day, I planned my wash day in such a way that it came in after my rice water had fermented. And that took me about 3-4 days. So once my rice water had fermented, I put it in the fridge, and then that same day I pre-pooed my hair because I was planning on washing it the next day. So pre-pooed my hair. I usually have my own, like I make my own pre-poo. Although I also sometimes, once in a while, I'll use the African Pride pre-shampoo treatment. This one, the African Pride Aloe and coconut water detangle and condition pre-shampoo. So sometimes I use this. So if can you see? Is it clear? Okay, it's not focusing, but yeah, that's the one that I use. So I will either use this or my own DIY pre-poo treatment, oil treatment. I usually use the oil if I'm going to pre-poo overnight. Then I use the African Pride pre-shampoo if I want to pre-poo but over a couple of hours during the day. So if I'm planning on washing my hair on the same day that I've pre-pooed, I'll use the pre-shampoo treatment by African Pride. And then what I do, I actually mix the pre-shampoo treatment with some of my pre-poo oil, and then I just go in with that to pre-poo my hair. Yeah, so I pre-pooed my hair the night before I was to wash my hair, and then once I'd put in the pre-poo in my hair, I separated these braids. So I'll have actually a video, like a short clip after this, to show you how I separated the braids. But because there are 10 of them, so usually I'll just separate them. And then for this particular installation, I split each braid into 2 as well. So initially I said I used 22 of these. In actual fact it was more like 44 because I split the braids in 2. I wanted to try out a hairstyle with them separated, because before that I had done a hairstyle where I just used each braid as it was, and it was quite fluffy, and I really enjoyed it. But I also wanted to see what it would look like if the sections were smaller, so I split it into half. Yeah, and that's basically what I did for the pre-installation part of it. Just as a recap, so I got my braids from Westlands Square. I got 2 packets. It all came down to less than 1,000 Kenyan shillings. So I got 2 packets. Then I soaked the braids, and then I prepared my rice water, and then I pre-pooed my hair, and then I separated the braids in preparation for the installation for the next day. I don't know how long this video is going to be, honestly, but either way, that's it for this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed my first video, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.